so fresh, looking so fresh. When I walk by, breaking their necks. Waiting in line at the team store. Now I'm feeling fly like a condor. Eyes on me when I walk through the door. Man, I wish I bought a couple more. Cause I really love my city. It was worth every penny. If it were at my show, then I know they gon' tip me. Think I might add a couple patches. If you think it's ugly, you capping. Now my whole outfit matching. Never going out of fashion.
All right, welcome. Episode 632, Talking Prayers podcast and YouTube show. Ben Fadden with you here. It is September 9th, 2024. It is 2:26 a.m. when I am doing this. It is not a live show as normal after series on YouTube, but it was just another late work day for me. And so I am coming to you after I am done working. And so I have some thoughts on this Padres Giants series. I'm trying to stay quiet, so I'm probably not going to be yelling or maybe sound super enthusiastic. But I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet, just give some thoughts on the series. I'm not going to go through every game, like, inning by inning or anything like that. And then there's some other stuff besides just these games that I did want to hit on. So just starting with yesterday's game, technically, the series finale, Padres lose 7-6, but to me, this was not a 7-6 loss. This was a blowout loss. And Joe Musgrove, it was so weird because he was dominating the Giants. He was striking out the side. He had not allowed a hit going into, I think, that fourth inning. And then there's the sun ball where Nando can't get it, runners on base, and then he gives up a homer. And he gave up 7 consecutive hits in that fourth inning. Homer to Chapman, homer to Encarnacion, homer to Matos, and it's 6-0 right there. And you feel like, wow, what the heck just happened? I thought the Padres had a good chance to go take this series going into this game. And it was like, yeah, okay, Joe, he is doing his job. Now the offense, you got to step up. But then Joe, it just fell apart. I've not seen his post-game quotes, but that sucked watching. Just it was pitches right over the middle of the plate where those same pitches, he was making Giants batters chase those pitches. That's where he was getting that success. Or it was a fastball not down the middle. It was a fastball on the inside part of the plate. Stuff like that. And so the location was an issue. And some of those pitches just on TV looked like they were just served right up there to those Giants batters. The third home run that he gave up, I'll give credit to the Giants hitter there. That was not like right down the middle. But I don't think that was where Joe wanted to throw that pitch. I could be wrong, but it was just a terrible inning there, and it felt like the game was over. I know that I shouldn't say that because the Padres, they've come back from deficits, and they almost came back. It is the Giants. This isn't the best team in baseball that we're talking about. But when your starter has that bad of an inning like that, yeah, you probably don't deserve to win the game. And so, losing 2 out of 3 here to the Giants, it's disappointing. Now, I'll be the first to sit here and say, well, what matters the most is, are the Padres going to make the postseason? And right now, they're in a postseason spot. And right now, I still think they're going to make the postseason. But the gap has gotten smaller. There's 4 teams: Padres, D-backs, Braves, and Mets. They're within 2 games of each other. 2 games. So the Padres are not guaranteed a playoff spot. And so, yeah, this sucks, losing this series, because this is a Giants team that is under 500. This is a Giants team that didn't throw Blake Snell in this series. He was not scheduled to throw. So, it was at home at Petco. You want to capitalize on those opportunities. But the Padres, they still hold the first wild card spot. And so if you want to be mad that I'm right-siding this a little bit, well, okay, whatever. I'm just stating a fact. They're 81-64. They're in first in the wild card. D-backs are a half game back. Braves are 2 games back. Same thing with the Mets. So Padres, they're still going to have to go earn this. It's a tough wild card picture there. But with some of the great baseball that they've played, it allowed them, I don't know if the Padres players would put it this way, but it allowed them to do this, not take a series that you should take on paper going in. So yeah, just frustrating. And sure, 7-6 was the final, but the Giants made mistakes as well to allow the Padres to get back in that game. So really, bright spot Jackson Merrill with the Oppo homer, bogey homered, great. But man, I really like the Padres' chances going into this game with Joe on the mound, and he just stunk it up there in that one inning where he unraveled. That was nuts watching that. It was just hit after hit after hit after hit. So hopefully he'll bounce back. I mean, it was there. It was there the first 3 innings. He was really good. And for anyone that wanted to get on me on social media about me posting about a no-hitter, because all I said was it's a brutal way to lose the no-hitter, the sun ball, to Tatis. Anyone that wants to get on me about thinking about a no-hitter in the 4th inning, I don't care. I'm just, I was stating a fact. He had a no-hitter. He was dominating. And then it just fell apart. I don't see very many of those. So it's in there. If we want to go the encouraging side, Joe has actually been pitching pretty darn good since coming back off the IL. Game 2 of this series, Padres lost that one as well, 6-3. Arise, by the way, he had himself a pretty good series, back-to-back 3-hit days. Padres initially had a 2-0 lead, but then Grant McCray, the Padres, I posted this the other night. The Padres, they allow us to learn some lesser-known players in baseball some nights. And in Game 2 of this series, they did that. And his name, Grant McCray. He homered twice. He was hitting out of the 9 spot. And just poorly located pitches by both guys that gave up the homer. Dylan Cease and then Yuki Matsui. It was good to see Brian Hoeing, by the way. It's been good to see him. But Dylan Cease, as I said, I believe in my post-game reaction, so I'll keep this short about this game. He's got to command better. It's, a silver lining that he went 6 innings, but when you're Dylan Cease, 6 innings should be like the minimum expectation, and 4 earned runs isn't good enough, especially when you're facing the Giants. And one of those big results from the Giants was a homer that was not a good pitch. I mean, it had hit me all over it, if you know what I'm saying. And then you had Logan Webb on the other side. When you're going into a game and you have Logan Webb on the other side, you're probably going to have to not make mistakes as the pitcher on our side. And Dylan didn't have his best outing, and that's not a great situation to be in when you have Logan Webb going against you on the other side. And they went with their top relievers after Webb, Rogers, Doval, Walker. It's just frustrating that, the 9-hitter gets the Padres twice in that game. And I expressed this as well, frustration that I had about this game was, why was Luis Campusano playing and not Elias Diaz? Don't we know what Luis Campusano can bring to the Padres? I thought Elias Diaz was brought onto this roster so that he could get playing time when Higgy wasn't playing, so the Padres could see, is this going to be our backup catcher if we make the postseason? Is he better than Luis Campusano for what we need right now? Can he fit into this team? So I wish that Elias Diaz would have gotten that opportunity. It was a positive that Jackson Merrill pinch hit, and it seemed like he was good. Tatis pinch hit as well. But again, back-to-back days, because Musgrove, I know it was 1 inning, but still disappointing outing. And then Dylan Cease, I know he went 6 innings, but that's still, for me, a disappointing outing. And you have those two, well, you lost a series. You lost both of those games. And we know how big, I'm not telling you anything that's crazy. We know how important starting pitching is going to be for this Padres team come postseason time if they make the postseason. Can't be doing what they did yesterday with Joe, that big blow up inning with Dylan Cease. Got to locate more. Command got to be better. So that's really what I've got quickly here in those last 2 games of the series. Padres won in game 1, though, 5-1. And Manny was able to make Padres history, tying Nate Colbert. He passed Agon and then tied Colbert in the Padres all-time home run list. And he homered in the first. And then his second homer was in the bottom of the 8th. That ball was crushed. The bat flip was great. And what I loved was this was a team win, I would say, because you got offense from one of your huge players in Manny. You got a great start from your starter in Michael King. 8 punch-outs, just 1 walk, 6 innings, 1 earned run. And you got good bullpen performances from guys that were not your high-leverage guys. Because remember, going into the series, Scott, Adam, and Suarez had pitched 4 the last 5 days, all 3 of them. So they probably weren't going to pitch. Or they weren't going to pitch in game 1. Probably weren't going to pitch in game 2. And so it was kind of like, the question going into game 1 was, okay, how are the Padres going to do this? Michael King, that was huge to get that outing from him. It's huge anyway, whenever you go 6 innings and 1 earned run. But to do it in those circumstances, huge. And then to have the depth that the Padres have, man, that's going to serve them well, I hope, come postseason time. Because who knows what happens with the starting pitcher if he's not on his A game. Maybe Mike Schilt has more of a willingness to go to the bullpen or more confidence in other guys in the bullpen, not name Adam Scott Suarez, where other managers in baseball probably don't want to go to their bottom of the bullpen in a postseason game. You probably want to ride with that starter and hope that he doesn't totally blow up. So there's still, even with this series loss, there's still encouraging things that I'm hitting on here with, the performance of Michael King, the performance of some other relievers. Manny is one of the guys carrying this Padres team. I think it was Kevin Acee in his Padres Daily that said, I don't have the stats in front of me, but since June, something like mid-June, something like that, Manny is doing incredible at the plate. And by the way, it was revealed, I believe, on Friday by Manny that he has been playing through and dealing with a finger injury, which makes this all more impressive what he is doing. We know he had to come back from the elbow surgery, and then the finger on top of that, probably, I don't know exactly when the finger injury happened, but he probably was dealing with, because I think the report was that most of the year he's been dealing with this finger issue. So he probably was dealing with that while he was not feeling great at the plate, not being able to do certain things at the plate that he is normally used to being able to do because of that elbow, and it just needing more time to recover. It's just incredible what he's doing. And this is the Manny Machado that the Padres paid for. This is the Manny Machado that the Padres need if they want to go win the World Series, right? You look at teams from past years, and they had some big guys step up, right? Corey Seager stepped up for the Texas Rangers. You go to the Nats run in 2019. I know Soto was not the big money guy, but he stepped up. You had Strasburg. You had Scherzer. You had guys like that step up for that Nationals team. We could go to, let's see. I mean, we could go all the way back to like Red Sox teams and Yankees teams, those big salary guys. Did they step up? If they stepped up, good chance of winning. I know the Phillies have not won, but Bryce Harper, when he steps up, I mean, we saw it in 2022, got him to the World Series. So, yeah, Manny is going to be huge, whether the Padres win or the Padres don't do a whole lot come postseason time. I know it's not the NBA; it's not a one person. One person doesn't have a like take over the game aspect, right? Because they don't control when they come up. They don't get the ball every time they come down the court. You know what I'm saying? But the numbers back it up. Manny does good. The Padres do good. Manny doesn't have that great of a year. Doesn't have that great numbers. Even if we like break up parts of this season, if he slow start, Padres were I think 3 games under 500 at one point, and now look where they're at with Manny performing well. So overall, Padres lose this series to the Giants. It's disappointing. Shouldn't be losing a series to the Giants when you're playing at home. You didn't have to face Blake Snell. You've got the talent. I mean, the starters that were in line for the Padres in this series, I felt confident that the Padres were going to go take this series, but the starting pitching wasn't good enough in those last 2 games. And again, like in this series finale, the Giants kind of helped the Padres get back into the game. So I don't think we should look at the score and be like, oh man, that was a really close baseball game. Great job from the Padres. I don't feel that way. So moving on, there's an off day today, I guess, because it's Monday at 2:42 a.m. There's an off day, and then the Padres are going to be in Seattle for 2 games. I don't know about you guys, but I love watching games in Seattle. Not, well, physically, yeah, it was cool. But that was years ago when I went. I'm talking about on TV. I don't know, it's just visually appealing to me watching those games. So Tuesday at 6:40, it'll be Darvish against Kirby. That's the pitching matchup. And then Wednesday, it is also at 6:40, Michael King. And then Brian Wu will be pitching for the Mariners. So Mariners, they're 2 games over 500. They've got talent on that team. They've got good pitching. The offense has been an issue this season for them. So we'll see what will happen. There's an off day, by the way, on Thursday as well for the Padres. So an off day Monday and Thursday. I believe there's 5 off days in the month of September for the Padres. So that is welcoming. There was some Ha-Seong Kim. I don't know about news, but there was stuff on Ha-Seong Kim today or yesterday, whenever the series ended, about how he's not yet throwing at 100%, and the Padres don't know when he is going to come back. I'm reading here a headline from the UT. Ha-Seong Kim still feeling shoulder discomfort on throws. That was 3 days ago. MLB.com here. AJ Castavell writes, Bogart's an option at shortstop with Kim still sidelined. Schilt revealed on Sunday that Kim is not as close as we'd like to making his return from right shoulder inflammation. The news could prompt a shakeup in the Padres infield, with longtime shortstop Xander Bogaerts potentially headed back to his former position. We know Kim got the injury diving back into that first base in Colorado. He has attempted to ramp up his throwing, but he continues to feel that discomfort in the shoulder. Schilt said yesterday was not necessarily a setback. It just wasn't a move forward. So we're still in the evaluation process. So to me, this is, hey, we want Donovan Solano to get more at-bats. So let's find a way to do that. Let's have Bogaerts be at short. Let's not have Mason McCoy or Tyler Wade have to be in the lineup. You can have Crony play second. You can have Solano play second and Crony play first. And you have Rise DH. There's different ways to go about this. But if Kim's going to continue to be out, then let's get our best offense out there. At least, maybe not every day, but I think the Padres value Donovan Solano. They understand what he can give to the Padres offensively, which is what Mason McCoy, although he's laid down some good bunts and he's been a team guy, and Tyler Wade a team guy. Donovan Solano, Tyler Wade, with all due respect, and Mason McCoy, they're not Mason Barrel. They're not you know Tyler T. Wade Barrels. It's Donnie Barrels. There's a difference, right? Donovan Solano, he's there for his offense. Those two guys are not. They're hitting ninth in the order, right? So it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, would I mind Bogarts being at short? No. To be honest, I've been fine with Mason McCoy at shortstop if, the rest of the offense can come through. And the Padres have been winning games with Mason McCoy at shortstop. I don't have a strong feeling either way. I will say this. I would like to see Donovan Solano get more at bats. So actually, maybe, yeah, I am in favor of Bogey being at short for now. And then when Kim's comes back, if he comes back, we can talk about that then. But the Padres, of course they see where they're at in the standings, and it's not a 4.5 game comfort to make the playoffs. It's what, 2? I think that's what I said earlier. It's around 2 games. So you need these wins. You need that offense. So we'll see, what the Seattle series brings. But I just wanted to hit on that real quick. And then another thing that I wanted to hit on was Blake Snell and a possible Blake Snell return to the Padres, because on social media, I saw this, I was DM'd this on Instagram, and it was a screenshot from Facebook. Someone there, I think that worked for the Padres, posted it. And Blake Snell, when he was with the Padres the last couple years, he put together a pizza party for Padres front office members. And that's a great gesture for a current player. But Blake is now not on the Padres. But he still paid for the pizza. He still threw the front office party for the Padres front office, with him being with the Giants. I'm reading this from that Facebook post. The last 2 seasons, Blake Snell threw a pizza party for the front office employees. Last year's party was so much fun, and we were all bummed he didn't remain on our team this season. Although he's now pitching for the Giants this season, he kept his promise that he would still throw us a pizza party regardless of him being on our team or not. We weren't expecting any of this today, but what a thoughtful and nice surprise from him. Needless to say, we miss him here in San Diego. And the note, I think it's from TNT Pizza, is where he got the pizza, by the way. But Blake writes, "Dear Padres front office fam, I miss y'all and hope everybody's been lit this season. Pizza and cookies on a Friday never hurt nobody. Love, an old friend." Like, that's cool. And obviously there's a lot of Padres fans on social media that made the jump. Like, yeah, of course he's coming back. He doesn't want to be with the Giants. He wants to be with the Padres. And yeah, I'd want to be with the Padres too if I was on the Giants, who are under 500, and the Padres seem to be going to the postseason. And I just want to Cy Young being with the Padres and being with Ruben Niebla. And it seemed like he loved being in that clubhouse and being with the Padres. So could a return happen? I would not be shocked to see Blake Snell return. I don't know if it's going to be next year. I don't know if it's going to be a couple years down the road. But, Wandy Peralta, and this is not Blake Snell level, obviously, but he got a contract from the Padres, and there was a bunch of options in it. And A.J. Preller loves to do those options. So maybe the Padres could get Blake Snell, not on a guaranteed 5-6 year deal, but maybe they put together an offer that other teams don't want to do with a bunch of option years. So at least Blake knows, I can be here for this amount of years if I want to. It's a player option, not a club option. Or maybe there's a mutual option in there, something to get the two parties back together. If Blake Snell rejoins the Padres, let's say it's, because I think he has an opt-out, right, after this season. So let's say it's with the Padres. I know that Roki Sasaki's out there, and so maybe the Padres have to choose. But if Snell's back, then you've got a rotation of Musgrove. This is for 2025. Musgrove, Darvish, not in any order, Cease, King, and Snell. I mean, where would that rotation rank in baseball? And then you have depth guys if you don't trade those guys, like Matt Waldron, like Randy Vasquez, like Johnny Brito. I mean, that's pretty darn appealing. That is pretty darn appealing. And remember, the Padres, they don't have Robbie Snelling. They don't have Dylan Lesko. So where are you going to get that top tier starting pitching from? It doesn't seem like it's going to be coming from the farm system immediately. So it's just something. It was something that I saw this weekend during this Giants series, and I was like, hey, that's pretty freaking cool, Blake. And I'm probably speaking for, the Padres fan base. I think the majority of the Padres fan base loves Blake Snell, and it just sucks that we see him with the Giants. But I think a lot of us would love to have Blake back. I think we love his personality. We obviously miss the Don and Mud conversations. Michael King's been good, Dylan Cease, but there's nothing like the Snell conversations. And I know winning's the most important thing. The dude won the Cy Young his last year with the Padres, right? So he still has it. The guy threw a no-hitter earlier this year. He still has it. There's talent there. So will it involve Blake needing to take less money? Maybe. Perhaps. Probably. But I'm fascinated to see, does Blake opt out? And if he does, he's not going to be coming off a Cy Young season. What are those offers going to look like? Are the Padres going to be in on that? Are they going to maybe not put together a guaranteed offer? Like 5 years, there's no options, it's just a 5-year contract with 25 mil a year, whatever. Maybe it's more of the option route where, yeah, we'll give you this year or give you a couple years, and then let's see what happens later down the road. But do you want to win? Here's a better spot than the Giants, and the Padres could make that pitch. So Blake seems like an absolute gem of a human being. What I will say is, because I recall this, a Sunday day game, before a Sunday day game, I was sitting down behind home plate, and Blake down the first base line, right field line, he signed autographs, took pictures with Padres fans for probably more than an hour before a Sunday day game. And this was not, one of those mandatory photo days where all the players go out there, or, an autograph signing where he's sitting at a table. No, I think he got some type of workout in, probably. Maybe did some throwing or running, a combination of both. And then he was there for over an hour with fans. So it's just someone that gets it. It seems like it's someone that is not too cool for the fans, someone that is a baseball fan like the rest of us, someone that likes to have fun. And we'll see where it goes. But, Blake, that was a topic of conversation on social media over the weekend during that Giants series. And by the way, for anyone that is curious, Blake Snell's numbers this season, he has a 3.62 ERA, 17 starts, 116 strikeouts in 87 innings. His whip is 1.115. Yeah, he got that contract from the Giants, paying him a lot of money per year, but it's not a long-term deal. And he has an option, a player option for 2025. He got $32 million this year. Would the Padres pay him $30 million next year? Who knows? The payroll did go down this season, obviously, and they're under the luxury tax. Would they be willing to spend next year? Maybe it depends on what happens, in the postseason. If they make it, I'm confident still that they will, but maybe it's determined by what happens in the postseason. Injuries can obviously always happen. AJ can make trades that we're not thinking about. He's done that so many times. But it seems like it's a good relationship. There was pictures of Blake and Mike Schilt catching up over the weekend. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's really all I got. I wanted to make this pretty quick half-hour show, episode 632, Talking Friars podcast and YouTube show. I tried to stay pretty quiet because people are sleeping. It's 2:56 a.m. here. Just a quick reminder. See, I'm having a hard time talking right now. A quick reminder, some of the great partners of the show, Gaglione Bros Famous Cheesesteaks and Garlic Fries, located on Friars Road, but they're also inside Snapdragon Stadium and Petco Park. Breaking Tea, they've got Padres and Aztecs shirts and sweatshirts. Not a great game by San Diego State, I must say, against Oregon State in football on Saturday. And then the Wave unfortunately lost Alex Morgan's final match, but there were a lot of fans that showed up, and San Diego gave Alex the love that she deserves. And I'm so grateful that she represents San Diego and wants to be in San Diego long term. Love it. Underdog. They have had a lot of promos going with the first week of the NFL season, and then college football obviously was on Saturday. So check them out. You will get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 when you use code Talking Friars or click that link in the description. That's for the first time users. You'll claim a special pick as well. And it's the same code, Talking Friars, for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. So use that to your advantage. Padres, how many homestands? Is it one or two more homestands this season? So, and hopefully before they host a wild card round, which would be electric because the last wild card series they hosted, there was nobody in the stands. No fans, no packed ball yard. So that would be pretty interesting. I can't wait. It's September 9th. I know it's a close battle there in the wild card, and it's 4 teams battling for 3 spots, and it's a 2-game gap right now. Nothing is guaranteed for the Padres, but I want to get to the postseason because of what we missed out on last year, because of how fun it was in 2022. I want to see what this team's got in the I want to see Jackson Merrill in the postseason. I want to see Michael King pitching for the Padres in the postseason. I want to see that. I want to see this bullpen in the postseason. I want to see Tatis in his first real postseason, where you've got packed ballparks with fans, the wild card series, the DS, hopefully CS, World Series, all that. I want to see that. What's Manny going to do? What's Merrill going to do? What's Profar going to do with this season that he's had? So many interesting questions. Obviously, the Padres got to get there, but I'm pumped. I'm excited. So enjoy the day off, Padres fans. For those that did listen or watch this, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And the Padres back in action in Seattle on Tuesday.